So the next topic that we have to consider is, or the next application is the linear harmonic oscillator. So a particle which executes a harmonic motion about an equilibrium position, a motion that is repeated over and over again, is a harmonic motion. So a particle which executes a harmonic motion is a harmonic oscillator. So the example for a harmonic oscillator is, say if we have a weight suspended by a spring and we just pull the weight, that is we stretch it down and release it, then the weight is going to be describing a harmonic oscillation and it is said to be a harmonic oscillator. So an ion in a crystal lattice also will be having a harmonic motion about the equilibrium position. Diatomic molecule, which is one of another explanation, another application that we will be considering a little later, is also another example. Now, of all the harmonic motion, the most simplest of all is the simple harmonic motion. And from the definition of simple harmonic motion, the acceleration of a particle executing simple harmonic motion is directly proportional to the displacement, and the motion is always directed towards the equilibrium position. So this is the definition of a simple harmonic motion. It can also be told as the force acting on the particle is directly proportional to the displacement, and the motion is always going to be directed towards the equilibrium position. So if we consider a particle of mass m which is executing a simple harmonic motion in one dimension, and let this motion be along the x-axis, and if the displacement at a time instant t is x and the acceleration is a, then from the definition of simple harmonic motion that we have already stated, this acceleration a is directly proportional to x. The negative sign here implies that the acceleration and the displacement are oppositely directed. So therefore we will also multiply on the left hand side by m. Okay, so therefore you will have ma is proportional to minus x, or f is proportional to minus x. See, both a being proportional to minus x, f being proportional to minus x, both of them can be considered to be definitions of simple harmonic motion. So therefore f is equal to minus kx, where k is a constant, the constant of that particular object which is describing the simple harmonic motion. F is also called as the restoring force, as it will try to bring the particle which is displaced back to the mean position or to the equilibrium position. Now, the potential energy of the particle when the displacement is x, as per our definitions from mechanics, is potential energy. Mechanical potential energy is a work done in moving a particle from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x against the restoring force. So therefore what we have is, from our definitions of work done, we are going to have potential energy to be equal to integration of fx dx with a negative sign. Integral limits is 0 to x. See, actually work done is f into dx, that is fx into dx. So now this work done should be against the restoring force. So therefore there is a negative sign. So therefore it is integration of fx dx with a negative sign. Now here the limits of integration is, the body has to be moved from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to x. So therefore the limits of integration become 0 and between 0 and x. Lower limit is 0, upper limit is x. So now substituting for fx from equation 1, we have V of x, potential energy, to be equal to integration of minus kx dx between the limits of integration 0 and x. So the negative sign cancels out. So therefore integration of kx dx between the limits of integration 0 and x. So k is removed outside the integral sign as it is a constant, and therefore we have integration of x dx. So therefore integration of x dx is x square by 2 between the limits of integration 0 and x. So therefore what finally comes is Vx is equal to k into x square by 2. So this for a particle executing simple harmonic motion. We also have f is equal to minus kx. We are also going to have from Newton's second law of motion, F to be equal to mass into acceleration. So therefore we write acceleration as d square x by dt square. So m into d square x by dt square is equal to minus kx, or d square x by dt square is equal to minus k by m into x. So by definition, a particle executing simple harmonic motion, its acceleration is supposed to be minus omega square x. So therefore we have d square x by dt square acceleration to be equal to minus omega square x, where omega is known as the angular frequency and omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So from equations 3 and 4 we are able to see that this minus k by m is equal to minus omega square. So therefore negative sign cancels on both the sides, or k is equal to omega square m. Omega is equal to 2 pi nu. So k is equal to 2 pi nu the whole square into m, or k is equal to 4 pi square nu square m. Call that as equation 5. Substituting equation 5 in equation 2, substituting equation 5 in equation 2, we have Vx to be equal to 4 pi square nu square m x square by 2. Simplification, V of x is equal to 2 pi square nu square m x square. So this is the expression for potential energy, that is equation 6. So this potential energy is independent of time. So if we have to be considering Schrodinger's equation, we consider Schrodinger's equation which is time independent, Schrodinger's time independent equation. So therefore we have del square psi by del x square plus 2m by h bar square into E minus V into psi is equal to 0. This is your Schrodinger's equation, which is time independent equation. So now substituting for V, del square psi by del x square plus 2m by h bar square whole multiplied by E minus 2 pi square nu square mx square whole multiplied by psi is equal to 0. That is the equation 7. So therefore now what is going to be done is simplification of equation 7 is going to be done. So 2me by h bar square is equal to alpha. So equation 8. 2 pi m nu by h bar is equal to beta. So substituting equations 8 and 9 in equation 7, what we will have is del square psi by del x square plus, so open the bracket, 2me by h bar square is alpha, then minus of, taking this within the bracket, that is 2m by h bar square, when it is taken within the bracket, what we will have is 4 pi square m square nu square by h bar square, which is nothing but beta square into x square whole multiplied by psi equal to 0. Now this equation is called as equation 10. Now here what is going to be done is y is considered to be equal to under root of beta x. So therefore del y by del x is equal to its partial differential. So root beta into del x by del x. So del y by del x is equal to root beta. Also del psi by del x is equal to del psi by del y into del y by del x. So therefore del psi by del x is equal to del psi by del y into root beta, or it means that del psi by del x is equal to root beta into del psi by del y. Now we next consider del square psi by del x square, which is equal to del by del x of del psi by del x. So now from partial derivatives we can rearrange it. So therefore it becomes del square psi by del x square del by del y into del psi by del x into del y by del x. So therefore this del psi by del x, we already know it is equal to root beta into del psi by del y. So del square psi by del x square is equal to del by del y, open the bracket, root beta into del psi by del y into del y by del x. So therefore on simplification what we get is del square psi by del x square is equal to root beta del square psi by del y square into del y by del x. So therefore once again this del y by del x is equal to root beta. So del square psi by del x square is equal to root beta into root beta, which is beta, into del square psi by del y square. Call that as equation 11. Substituting equation 11 in equation 10. In equation 10, so what we have is beta del square psi by del y square plus, open the bracket, alpha minus beta square into y by root beta the whole square whole multiplied by psi is equal to 0. So you know that y is equal to root beta x. So therefore x has been replaced by y by root beta. So therefore on simplification, beta into del square psi by del y square plus, opening the bracket, alpha minus beta y square multiplied by psi is equal to 0. Dividing throughout by beta, we have del square psi by del y square plus alpha by beta minus y square whole multiplied by psi is equal to 0. Call that as equation 12. So this equation 12, the solution of this differential equation is of the kind of alpha by beta is equal to 2n plus 1, where n is an integer. Now substituting for alpha and beta from equations 8 and 9, we have 2me by h bar square by 2 pi m nu by h bar is equal to 2n plus 1. On simplification, we have e by h bar pi nu is equal to 2n plus 1. So e is equal to h bar pi nu whole multiplied by 2n plus 1. Once again, on simplification, h bar is replaced by h by 2 pi. What we have is En is equal to h nu into n plus half, or En is equal to n plus half h nu. So for a given harmonic oscillator, h, the Planck's constant, is a constant as it is. Nu, the frequency of oscillation, is also a constant. So E, the energy, depends only on the integer n. So therefore you have En to be equal to n plus half into h nu. So En therefore gives the eigenvalues of energy. They are discrete permitted values of energy of the harmonic oscillator. So now, what are the values that n can have? So n can have integral values alone. So if n is equal to 0, what is the energy value or the eigenvalue? E0. E0 is equal to 0 plus half into h nu, which is equal to half h nu, which is a particular value not equal to 0. So therefore n can take the value equal to 0. If n is equal to 1, E1 is equal to 1 plus half into h nu, which is equal to 3 by 2 h nu. If n is equal to 2, E2 is equal to 2 plus half into h nu, which is equal to 5 by 2 h nu, so on and so forth. So therefore, their eigenvalues are quantized. Also, what is the separation between the eigenvalues? So therefore, the separation between the eigenvalues are, in the first case, E1 minus E0. In the second case, E2 minus E1. In the third case, it is E3 minus E2, so on and so forth. On simplification, we will be able to see that in all these cases, the separation between the energy levels or the eigenvalues is h nu. So this means that the eigenvalues are quantized and they're also in equal steps, or they have equal separation. So we have seen here that n is equal to 0 gives the energy value which is equal to half h nu. This n is equal to 0 gives E0 which is equal to half h nu. This is called as the 0 point energy, and it is not 0, and this is the ground state energy. So this is a consequence of the uncertainty principle. So the uncertainty principle, as you know from the previous semester, it says that both the position and momentum, which are a conjugate set of variables, their values cannot be determined simultaneously and accurately. And then we mathematically showed that delta x into delta p is greater than or equal to h bar by 2. The same uncertainty principle can also be told in terms of energy and time, and therefore you have delta E into delta T to be greater than or equal to h bar by 2. So delta E is greater than h bar by 2 delta T. Time interval cannot be equal to 0. Delta T cannot be equal to 0. So uncertainty in energy, okay, maybe a minimum value, means it is E naught. So uncertainty in energy also can never be equal to 0, because product of delta E into delta T is not equal to 0. Neither delta E nor delta T can be equal to 0, and the minimum value that delta E can take is E naught, and therefore that E naught also cannot be equal to 0. So this E naught, the 0 point energy having a particular value, is just a consequence of the uncertainty principle, and that is a particular question for the part C question that you could be asked in the examination. So now what is done is, this is a figure wherein which you have the equally spaced energy levels. So first you have the harmonic oscillator, its motion is shown like that, and when n is equal to 0, we have E0 which is equal to half h nu. When n is equal to 1, we have E1 which is equal to 3 by 2 h nu. When n is equal to 2, we have energy E2, eigenvalue E2, which is equal to 5 by 2 h nu. N is equal to 3, we have eigenvalue to be equal to 7 by 2 h nu. N is equal to 4, E4, which is equal to 9 by 2 h nu. So energy levels are all equally spaced. I would like to mention one more point. E0 is called as the ground state energy, and E1 is the first excited state, E2 is the second excited state, E3 is the third excited state, E4 is the fourth excited state. So this is slightly different from the particle in a one-dimensional box. Now the normalized wave function, you don't have to derive the equation for the wave function, you can accept it. So the normalized wave function is psi of n equal to root b by 2n n factorial under root of pi whole to the power of half into e to the power of minus alpha x square by 2 into hn of root beta x. Hn root beta x is the Hermite polynomial of the nth order. And then what has been done is this, when n is equal to 0, the value of psi 0 has been determined and the nature of the graph is as is shown here. And when n is equal to 1, psi 1 has been determined and the nature of the wave function of psi 1x is as is shown here. When n is equal to 2, then psi 2 has been determined and then the value of the waveform of psi 2 is as is shown here. So this completes the portion on the harmonic oscillator, which is once again a very important question for part A. Next, we come to expectation value. As we have already seen in the previous semester, probability density, that is mod psi square, gives the probability of finding a particle at a particular position and at a particular instant of time. If there are a large number of measurements that are being carried out on some, say, dynamical quantity, then the probability will be given by the relative number of times the particle is observed in any particular volume. So therefore, it becomes possible to define the average value or expected value of any function f of x or coordinates. So also we have known from previous semester from uncertainty principle that the definite value of position and momentum of a particle cannot be measured simultaneously and accurately. So quantum mechanics actually deals with the probable value of measurements as definite values cannot be measured. So therefore, this expectation value is the average of the results that are obtained when we have a large number of measurements on independent identical systems. So therefore, each of the identical systems are represented by their respective wave function. So the expectation value or average value of a physical quantity in a mathematical form is alpha. So you have brackets which are going to be like angles. So therefore, expectation value of alpha is integration of psi star xt alpha cap psi of xt dx, integration between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity, divided by integration of psi star xt into psi of xt dx, integration between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. Here psi is a wave function. Its value is given by a e to the power of minus I by h bar into et minus px. Then alpha star is nothing but the operator of alpha. Operators we have already shown for the coordinate x, then for the momentum p and for the energy E, so on and so forth. Whatever be the physical or the dynamical variable, we have to be considering that there. Then psi of x is the states of the system. Psi star of x is the complex conjugate of the states of the system. Now, if psi x is a normalized wave function, as we have already seen from Max Born's interpretation, for normalized wave functions, integration of psi star x into psi x into dx is equal to 1 when the limits of integration is minus infinity and plus infinity. Because the product of psi star x into psi x is nothing but mod psi square. So integration of mod psi square dx between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity is equal to 1. This is nothing but your normalized wave function definition. Substituting equation 1 in equation Roman number 1 that we have for the mathematical form of expectation value. So what we have is expectation value for normalized wave functions is given by expectation value of alpha is integration of psi star x operator of alpha, alpha cap, psi x dx. Limits of integration is minus infinity and plus infinity. So therefore what has happened is, in equation Roman number 1, the denominator has become equal to 1 for all normalized wave function. So what is retained here is just the numerator for only normalized wave functions. So expectation value for position x. So therefore expectation value of x is equal to integration of psi star x, x cap, which is the operator of x, that is the operator of the dimension x, into psi of x dx between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. So therefore expectation value of x is equal to integration of x cap mod of psi square dx between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. Likewise, expectation value for momentum. So expectation value of momentum is equal to integration of psi star r p cap. P cap is the operator of momentum into psi r dv between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. Since we are considering p, this momentum p is in space, so therefore all the coordinates x, y and z of the Cartesian coordinate system have to be considered. So if we only consider in one dimension, we have already shown that px cap, that is operator of the momentum considered along the x direction, is equal to h bar by I into del by del x. Likewise, it can be simplified as multiplying the numerator and the denominator by I. It becomes IH bar by I square del by del x. Then we have I square to be equal to minus 1. So therefore we will have Px operator, that is Px cap, to be equal to IH bar into del by del x. So therefore if you are able to write the expectation value for momentum along the x direction, component of momentum along the x direction, so expectation value of px, which is equal to integration of psi star xt, okay, into, write the operator of px, which is minus I h bar into del by del x, psi of xt dx. Limits of integration is between minus infinity and plus infinity. Likewise, expectation value for energy. So once again here, operator for energy has already been determined, and we have shown that operator for energy, operator for energy is IH bar del by del t. So therefore expectation value of energy is integration of psi star RT E cap, that is operator of E, into psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. Here with regard to momentum, we have taken momentum with respect to only one component, that is x. So therefore we have taken psi to be a function of x and t. Here with respect to energy, it is energy considered in space. So therefore psi is a function of r and t, r being the position vector. Okay, so operator of energy E is equal to integration of psi star RT E cap psi RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. So substituting the operator for energy, integration, expectation value of energy is equal to integration of psi star RT into IH bar del by del t psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. Now total energy, mechanical total energy is the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy. Kinetic energy is written down as half mv square, potential energy is V. kinetic energy, E is equal to m square v square by 2m plus v, or this is going to be p square by 2m plus v. So expectation value of energy is equal to expectation value of p square by 2m plus expectation value of v. Substituting from the equations 3 and 4 in equation 5, 3 was giving the expectation value of momentum, and then 4 was giving the expectation value of energy. On substitution, we get this particular equation. So therefore, this integration of psi star RT into IH bar del by del T into psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. This is nothing but the expectation value of E, energy E. This is equal to integration of psi star RT p square cap operator of p square by 2m into psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity, plus integration of psi star RT v cap operator of potential energy into psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. So on simplification, we have substituted here on the right hand side the first term, the operator for p square, okay, so which is nothing but IH bar square I minus IH bar square, and then that is to be divided by 2m into del by del x square. So therefore we are considering this as the momentum along x direction only. So integration of psi star RT into IH bar del by del T into psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity is equal to integration of psi star RT into minus IH bar square by 2m into del square by del x square psi of RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity, plus integration of psi star RT v cap, which is the operator for potential energy, into psi RT dV between the limits of integration minus infinity and plus infinity. So that has been simplified, and then we get this particular equation. So what has happened there is minus I square gives you minus of minus 1 into h bar square. So therefore the first term, there is only a change in the first term on the right hand side of the equation. Integration of psi star RT into h square by 2m into del square by del x square into psi RT dV. So therefore this is the final equation for the expectation value of energy, where energy is given in terms of potential energy and kinetic energy.